If you had to guess,
Yeah.
do you think people prefer penis or weenus? Which one?
I decidedly do not like weenus. Penis sounds strong,
Yeah.
like ready to
I'm
go.
gonna give you
I'm gonna give you my
I'm gonna
penis.
give you my weenus.
Weenus?
Sounds like something you would do, or you would say.
I can't imagine. Here's my thing. I can't imagine a hard weenus. Weenus sounds like a limp dick.
You're well, now you're making this about you, and I don't want to get into.
You asked my opinion. Weenus doesn't sound like anything that could ever do the job.
Whatever.
Torin is talking to Austin, and Austin is talking to Torin. It's time to shut up and listen, 'cause it's the Torin and Austin podcast.
Dude, I'm excited to start this with you. By the way, what the fuck are you wearing?
You don't like Cobra Kai?
I love Cobra Kai. You know me.
Best miniseries ever made. It's a YouTube special, but they made some sweatshirts as one-offs. Pretty badass, if you ask me.
Are you stating to the world that you know karate, or that you just simply
support
Karate
the show?
Kid?
I simply support
good.
the show.
Okay, good.
I don't know
to make
karate.
sure.
I don't know.
All right. So for those of you listening, you're probably wondering why the hell Austin and I would make a podcast. We're probably asking the same questions.
Way to start it out.
But
why would we be here?
The simple answer to that is that we've talked for years at this point.
Yeah, right.
Going on 25 years about just doing something creative together.
Right.
You know, a lot of people around us have always had to listen to all the stupid ideas that we come up with. So we're like, you know what? Enough of ideas. Let's actually make something. So here we are. We're just going to put together some thoughts on.
Well, the other mediums that we looked at, film, television, were never really things.
Yeah, we never had the means from the TV people.
Exactly. We went to the TV people, and they were not interested. No, we this is a medium we can get behind. It's easy. We could do it ourselves.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. Cool. Specifically, if you know us and know the things that we have worked on, and specifically the things we've never finished.
Right. Well, let's talk about what we started. As far as
Go ahead.
Not even started as far as working on, just talking about.
Started in 1995.
Right.
So go back to when we were kind of second year in school, in college, starting to talk about just an idea, right?
Yeah.
Based around the fact that we were broke as hell.
Yep.
And we predominantly ate something that was very close to our house, right around the corner. Taco Bell. Right. So being broke, being in the basement where we lived, which is a true story, we started talking about, and I think it was just me and you, drinking a couple of beers, messing around.
Yeah. And
you were like, we know some weird cats. And we do, when we did then. So we started talking about how, man, I'm starving. I have no money. We're combine that with we're drinking beer that I'm talking about like Natty Light, Natty Ice. We
were talking this is back then. We were doing something without actually writing. We were doing something that people will tell you to do now as a writer. Write about what you know. Right. And what we knew was being broke and eating fast food. And that's what we got by on. We had to store. We had a concept of what do we have? It was about two dudes,
right,
starving, had a couple dollars to their name, and just wanted to make the trek from their home.
Yeah,
to Taco Bell.
We literally walked to Taco Bell, which was not more than a block and a half from our house. So we were like, if we went there right now, because we were sitting there, as happens in college, probably middle of the day on like a Tuesday, drunk, and going, what if we just walk down there? Who's upstairs? And I think we were talking about like our porch. If you know our house, our porch was like a big kind of congregation area. Everybody would hang out, and we knew we'd run into some people, and we literally, between the two of us, probably had $1.37 to our name.
But we specifically talked about this in the concept of like a film about two guys like us that did it. And so we did what most artists don't do, which is talk about it. Most artists just do it.
Right.
Like, we just talked about it. We talked about it in front of everybody we knew.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we got this idea for a movie.
For the next couple of years, mind you. This didn't just
throughout
start
college,
and stop. This was throughout college.
And so it kind of grew and grew. People would come to us and like with ideas about, hey, what about this happened, this happened? And so obviously we never
put pen to paper.
Yeah, we did a little of that.
We did that
we
later,
never did
didn't we? When we were in Hermosa. So this is years later. We ended up writing it down. Something
we had the working title of $2 for T-Bell. So $2. It was two dudes that had $2 to spend on some Taco Bell. They just wanted to get to Taco Bell,
creative.
And on the way to Taco Bell, all these misadventures happened. And so, if you're listening to this and you have any cinematic knowledge, you probably can guess that A, we never made this movie, and B, somebody else made something very, very similar. So fast forward about when did that movie come out? In the early 2000s?
That's what I was looking at. I was going to find out because Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle was released on July 30th, 2004.
Okay.
So it was 2004. Well, here's why I remember that. This is why I thought it was a little later than when we moved to California. So in the September of 2001, Torin moved from New York to California, and we lived in Hermosa Beach. And we were still talking about Two Bucks for T-Bell, and he had moved to California to talk more about what's the next thing. Right. Remember, we had talked about, like, what are we going to do? What is something we can do? The thing that had happened at that time is I was about roughly a year into a career that was going to ultimately be my next 20 years. But the reality was, we didn't have the means or resources to find a way to introduce this concept to anyone anyways.
But we did have a camera.
We did have a camera. So instead of $2 for T-Bell, the making of $2 for T-Bell started. And we tried to...
Can we explain to them what this means?
Yeah, get after it.
We're like, all right, we don't have the means to, like, create a script, hire... producers, actors, equipment, and all this stuff. So, like, what if we did something with this camera that we now have? And we were like, let's document us making this, trying to make this film. And it was more of a... Oh, at that time we were watching a lot of Christopher Guest movies.
Right. It was mockumentary style.
Yeah,
we were looking at
mockumentary. Right. And we recorded some of the dumbest shit that I hope none of you listening ever see.
We do have it. We do have the actual 8mm.
Austin has it and has not destroyed it to my after my many, many requests.
You cannot figure out how to play it either, though. So anyway. there's no stretcher available. Yeah. It used to be available. It's literally, you have to find, I think, the equipment that actually play that particular technology, and I don't know anybody that has that.
So we filmed some stuff. We can fast forward way past that because I don't want to talk about that. But I remember, if you say it's 04, then I'm guessing it was around 03, late 03, that I went. I don't remember what movie we went to go see. But I remember my vivid memory is coming out of a theater after watching a movie and seeing one of those big cardboard cutouts in, like, the hallway outside of the theater for Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Yeah.
And, like, we've talked about the mixed, like, emotions that created, but, like, my first one was just a sinking feeling of, like, oh, fuck, this is what... Fuck. Like, that was my idea. And you've talked about...
I had the opposite. Reverse. I thought, man, this can actually happen. If they can write something that silly and that just baseless, I was like, we could do more than that. That was just an idea we had in 1997, living in the basement of a fraternity house. We could certainly do better than that. So I started trying to think of different things that we could write, which never, at that time, never really became anything.
We went back and forth. I finally watched Harold and Kumar last year.
Yeah. Last year?
First time.
I've watched it a couple times.
First time.
Way before that.
It was exactly what I wanted our movie to be. And that was like the biggest fear was like
that it would be similar. Yeah.
And my girlfriend Rebecca was like, she's like, you got to watch this. You've got to just get over this. You got to quit talking. Right. I'm like, I'm 42 and still talking about this movie that I wrote, that somebody else wrote.
Right.
You know. So watched it, got over it. But anyway,
mind you, we had career. I mean, Torin was working at the Club Sushi, which was his chosen profession, and I was working in a corporate environment. So it wasn't like we had opportunity necessarily. He was working nights, I was working days. You know, that old chestnut. And basically, when it came time to actually try and do something, we just never had the energy or the time, because we also had to drink and do drugs and stuff like that. So not hard drugs, I'm just saying. But we had things to do other than just write.
So what we're trying to get to is like, why were we doing this? It's because we've had these creative ideas,
right? And
we want to just fucking do one.
Sure.
So our legacy of not doing shit continues though, because I think it was like 2007 when I was when I moved to Tucson.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I remember this idea coming across my head. I don't remember what stupid movie I had watched the night before, which is usually what sparks these stupid ideas in my head.
Right.
But I had an idea about the greatest, like, epic
film ever conceived. Metropolisaurus.
So I had this idea about a building that comes to life and becomes a dinosaur and wreaks havoc on a city. And it sounds really dumb. I get it. You could laugh all you want. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's got legs. Literally.
Well, if they can make, I said this 100 times. No. If they can, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
No, if they can make Sharknado, we can make Metropolisaurus. And the guys, which you can tell the story, you know the guys who actually made Sharknado and had a relationship of some sort of connection, that they could have taken our idea for Metropolisaurus and turned it into a wonderful film, which we have written.
Our idea.
Well, we've written some dialogue for the film. We have the major character, Jax, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. You could have talked to them if they were willing to listen. However, they had one issue with the film. Torin, what was that issue that they had with our film?
The short story of this is I went to Cannes with a short film that I helped produce in like 2010, sometime around there. I went to Cannes and went to see our screening. And the next day, we had a day to kill. But I found out that they had like a vendor kind of forum
booth
where you can walk through and see all these production companies and stuff, and wound up going there for the day instead of hanging out in South France and exploring and having fun. I'm like, no, I want to go talk to some people. I'm like, and we kind of walked through the venue the day before,
right?
And I saw the Asylum, and I'd seen the Asylum. The Asylum is a production company that had done a couple of quirky things. I can't remember what they had done prior to that.
They did Zombies, which is a true story. Okay. It's about a zoo where every animal turns into a zombie. That's not the one I'm
thinking of.
No. I'm just saying that's the level of production we're talking about.
Really hokey shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want to go talk to those guys. And so my buddy was like, I'll go back into the venue with you. We can, his wife was there, but he's like, dude, I'll go with you. And we went into the venue. We got our passes, and I sat down with the producers at Asylum, pitched them Metropolisaurus about this sun-blotting behemoth of a building that turns into a dinosaur somehow and wreaks havoc on a city until our hero saves the day.
And
I had
ultimately,
like a whole thing.
What was the problem?
So they said, this is kind of cool. I could see us producing this, but the guy said, and I remember him saying, he said, we really like to see our monsters in the flesh. I didn't know what to make of that.
I still don't. I don't know what that means. The monster, it becomes a dinosaur. What are they looking for?
I was like, what if it's a fleshy building? And he was like, I don't know. It's like,
I have a text. I have an email from you to them, stating the same thing.
Okay, so if they ever make this movie, we're covered.
We do.
We got a document. We have.
We're not going to get Harold and Kumar.
We got a paper trail.
Yeah,
so
we do.
If they ever make it, after a week or two after, I didn't hear back from them,
right.
And so I sent them an email with the concept to make sure that it was covered. And so if they ever make it, we're covered. We'll get some royalties if we're not directly involved.
And I thought when Sharknado came out, we were totally in. We were going to make this movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. So that
failed.
Right. It didn't fail. It just didn't go anywhere.
That's on the shelf. Is what I should say.
Yeah. That's on the. We got that in the. On the shelf, waiting for.
We've talked about so many other concepts beyond that, and like you've got one that you're really like.
Yeah. An intimate evening with friends. I love it. I love the concept of the movie.
It's called an intimate evening with friends.
Yeah, I don't want to get $2 for T-Belt on this one, but I've written probably 30 to 40 pages of the script so far. Mm-hmm. A lot of dialogue, a lot of character development, a lot of focusing on like the 5 guys that it's about. And it ultimately should be something I try and finish just for the sake of finishing something. Because that's the whole point of what we're doing here is that we've never finished anything.
30 minutes.
We're pretty far into this. I mean, and the concept. I think the concept is sound. I've talked to actually a couple of people that I know about it. I like the idea. There are some things that we can tweak, and I think it's by no means a finished product, but I think the point is it's another thing we started and just never finished. Mm-hmm. That brings us where we are right now.
Yes. We're gonna finish the Torin and Austin podcast.
We're going to do this. So we've got some theme music coming, folks. We've got some stories coming of it more in depth of some of the things that have happened. If you know us or don't know us, it doesn't really matter. There's some really... we've had some interesting lives between the two of us. I think we've got some pretty unique views to share. So I'm excited about what we're trying to do and trying to finish something finally.
If you had like an actual, Austin, if you had an actual like vision for this, just
right,
you, me, and a couple mics, like what would you like to like just do?
I want to finish some of the things we've started that I think that still have merit. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a uniqueness between you and I in the way that we interact, the way that we, again, it goes back to kind of the views that we have on certain things, keeping it completely based around, some of the funny things that have happened in our lives.
Sure.
And some of the people that we know, I think we've got an opportunity to
we definitely have to have guests
for sure. We have people on that we know.
Interesting guests that we could have on here.
We do. And I think some of the people that'll come on will attest to what we're talking about. But I think the main goal for you and I should be to finish something we start. That's the biggest thing, because there's a reason. In 1995, 96, 97, we started talking about these things, and we just never had an opportunity to finish. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, cool.
How about yourself? What do you want to accomplish with this?
Well, first and foremost, I think I want to have some fun. I really feel like that's kind of wrapped around everything I do anymore.
Exactly.
But no, I want to create something fun and engaging, and I think my favorite word I'm sorry, I'll cut it. I'll edit that out. I think what I want to create something inviting. I want to invite people in to experience stupidity and humor and literally, I want to invite people we know to come talk to us and just have a good time. We know some interesting people. We know some well-known people.
Sure. Yeah.
And we know some people that we just kind of want to laugh at with everybody else.
I want to introduce people to these people and see if they think they're as funny as I do.
Cool.
I agree.
So that's what we want to accomplish, and we hope you guys have fun along the way, and we hope you guys stick with us. So this is a Torin and Austin podcast. So thanks for joining us.